The actual number of new cases have actually leveled off, or at best part even just decreased a bit. What we do have, though, are an increase in the enforcement proceedings, which basically tells me that those persons who have judgments against them already are finding it difficult to pay off these judgment debts, even on orders where installment payments have been ordered. And so plaintiffs have decided to bring their parties back to the court, sometimes on a warrant of arrest, to establish whether or not they still can pay and to what rate they can pay. So I think it still speaks very heavily to the recession is still very much entrenched in the courts, as well as persons having real difficulties paying their bills. I have seen no increase in the level of employment. If anything, there's been more unemployment. I still get stories of persons who are coming to the courtroom, in many cases distraught, in many cases crying, saying they want to pay, but don't have the ability to pay. I'm also finding a huge increase in the amount of persons who either have applied for financial assistance or are already on financial assistance. So it's still very much a problem that we're having in terms of persons paying the bills.
One of the things I noticed during the proceedings as well is on any given day, 10 to 20 warrants are issued for people who fail to appear. What does that tell you?
It tells me that people are having a difficult time paying the bills, paying the judgment debts. They want to, but can't. The unfortunate part about it is that the plaintiffs are often compelled or forced to take the next step, which is a warrant of arrest. We have, I think, a system in place which is cognizant of the problems that people are having. And so rather than the bailiffs going to arrest the individuals, going to their job or going to their house to arrest, because that in and of itself can be embarrassing, we actually will call them and make arrangements for them to come to the courtroom. And so we do that in the hopes of either establishing why amounts have not been paid, and whether or not there should be a variation in the payments that are already in place. And what we're finding is that persons' financial circumstances have not really changed at all. And I think people are also embarrassed. People are embarrassed about having to owe this money. They want to pay, but are unable to pay. And I think that can be embarrassing. And so when they come to court, and my courtroom can be packed at times, it is a rather humiliating experience for some of them. And we try to alleviate that. And we just think that by persons being arrested is not the best way of going. No longer are we saying people who are delinquent or deliberately not paying their bills. That was the case probably about 4 or 5 years ago, where a person was just wantonly, deliberately not paying, just being irresponsible. But now people want to pay their bills, but just can't.
I noticed as well quite a few single mothers. One woman broke down and was in tears, said she was a waitress, brought home maybe $240 after deductions. But I also saw you send another mother upstairs right away to file for child support because she was facing unpaid bills, one of them a nursery bill, and getting no support from the fathers.
Right. We often get those situations where a mother has gone to the hospital on a pregnancy, and they're unemployed and have no insurance, and so they rack up $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10,000, and if there's something medically wrong with the child, it's even more than that. And so my view is, and the court's view is, that in those circumstances where the hospital bills have resulted because of a birth or pregnancy, it's really unfair for just the mother to pay that. The father really should start to kick in and assist in that. And so in most cases, mothers have not sought the assistance for some reason of the fathers. In some cases, have even informed the father of it. And so I urge them to consider, I can't make them do it, but urge them to consider taking steps in another court, in family court, and in doing so present the judgment in my court as proof that they need assistance with paying off this bill. And so hopefully the father can recognize that they too should contribute, particularly to these hospital bills.
Another big issue is this issue of child support payments in arrears. Several millions. In one case, I did a story on a mother who was arrested on a warrant when her ex-husband owes outstanding funds. at some point, what do you think we need to do as a society to address this?
In terms of the child support? Or-
The being in arrears and mothers being arrested as opposed to fathers.
You know, what I find with mothers in a family court, for the most part, all they really want is for the child to have a relationship with. That's the main thing, for the child to have a relationship with the father. I think they will forego any claim for money or child support if only the father were to play his role as a father and spend time with the child. I think for them that's paramount. Secondly, I don't think mothers are looking for huge amounts of payments, but they want some assistance. You know, $50 per week, while it may not seem like a lot, but at least we'll buy Pampers, we'll buy formula, and we'll buy some food, and to give the mother some relief in that regard. And so I think that father, and I'm not talking about all fathers, obviously, but those fathers who find themselves in family court and earning child support arrears, just make some contribution, do something, because and I think that even that would assist the mothers to some degree. From a social perspective, I think that those fathers need to man up. They need to man up and look after their responsibilities.